What up, players? It's Warboss Tay up in this mode. Today I'm looking at Only War. This is an unbooking review for the Warhammer 40k roleplay core rulebook. And let's take a look at it. So this is the section of the universe that it takes place in, the periphery. Can't really give you too much idea of the... Oh, the periphery is just... Yeah, I can't give you too much of an idea of the fluff and the background on it because I haven't gotten too much into it. This is just a very basic overview. And to help me out today with my review, I have the preeminent expert on all things Imperial Guard, Commissar Bane. That's right, players. It's me, and I've come to review this filthy heretical tomb that should not be played by anyone. Oh, come on, Commissar, it's not that bad. In fact, I think it's pretty cool. See? Look at that. Is that Colonel Schaefer? Gaunt? Some guy. I think it's Gaunt. He's got a Commissar outfit. Alright, so these are a list of the 40k role-playing games that are out there. Dark Heresy, the founder, the big daddy of them all. Rogue Trader, the follow-up about being a rogue trader, going to galaxies and conquering things, and in the name of the Emperor, and making lots of money. Starship Battles, that's the one that this one was known for, Starship Battles. This one was known for like intrigue and very Call of Cthulhu-esque, kind of H.P. Lovecraftian themes of betrayal and heresy and all that espionage kind of stuff. This one was about huge, giant, honking spaceships doing space battle with each other, and you get to be a free Buddha orc in this one too. How cool is that? If you want to buy the expansion for it. Death Watch, all about being a space marine in the Death Watch. You get to choose your own chapter and work as a unit and do missions for the Inquisition. All these systems, the great thing about them is they're so different from one another about the way they handle money and working together in a team and combat and skills and all that sorts of stuff. Black Crusade, do you want to be a Chaos Space Marine? Do you want to be a Chaos Renegade, like a cultist? And lead your way to a Black Crusade? That's all in here. And today we're looking at Only War, which focuses on the Imperial Guardsmen of the 41st Millennium. So the first thing I gotta say, so much great artwork, so much great fluff. Is a Acadian officer. Yeah, there's so much great fluff. And it talks about the Imperial Guard, when it was founded, what it was, how it broke off from the Imperial Army after the Horus Heresy, how it's used today, the different kinds of support and auxiliary forces it has. This first section is all about fluff. And especially if you are not used to the Warhammer 40k universe, it's really good. So the main crux of it is you fight as a regular Imperial Guardsman and you are a part of a regiment. Mordian Iron Guard, woo! So the regiment gives you kind of bonuses and extra skills and stuff, so you gotta choose your regiment, and then you gotta choose your kind of career or your class that you're gonna play as. Oh, Dark Eldar, fighting against a stormtrooper, woo! My boys, the Vostroyans. Ah! So cool. Alright, so this first section talks about, or the second section talks about which regiment you can be. You want to be Acadian Shock Trooper? This is all the stuff you get. This is all about the Acadian Shock Troopers. It's actually called the Spinward Front, not the Periphery. This is about the Acadian Shock Troopers that operate in this area of the universe. So you can't just say like, oh, I want to be a Acadian Shock Trooper and I want my adventure to take place on Terra. It takes place really, all the adventures take place in the Spinward Front. And that means that you can do anything. Your game master can say the entire part of this entire part of the universe blows up and gets sucked into the warp and demons everywhere, and it will not affect the rest of the 40k universe. So you get like your own contained little sandbox world that you can really do anything in, and there are all these planets and systems and stuff. So I like how they kind of say this is what Acadian Shock Troopers are. If you want to play them, this is their kind of personality. This is their kind of display or their placement in this neck of the woods. So is there a lot of them? Are there not too much of them? Have they been dug in here for a long time? Have they not? And then here's an example of a unit that you could play, a regiment that you could play, I guess a unit, the 99th Mechanized Infantry in the game. So specifically when you're creating your own regiment, these are the kind of bonuses that you get. And these are the bonuses you would get. These are the kind of breakdowns of what they are. So if you want to just take this example and use it, then these are the things that you would need. So combined with the Cadian Shock Trooper regular things, you get all this other stuff. So they do that for each of the main ones. Catachin Jungle, Fighters, oh, so good. I changed my mind. This book is fantastic. Death Corps of Krieg, if you ever wanted to play a Death Corps of Krieg person. And really though, who would want to be Death Corps of Krieg? Because they don't even have names. They just have like identification numbers, except for their officers. Yeah, but it's out there. Elysian Shock Troopers. This is a regiment that has been made specifically for this game. They're called the Maccabean Janissaries. I don't know about this game, but the 40K role-playing universe. Mordian Iron Guard. Oh, so cool. And female. Like I said, you're going to find a lot of female models. Talarn Desert Raiders, Warhammer Fat Kids. I know you guys would be totally into this. Yeah, so this is, I think she's supposed to be like the leader of the Talarn regiments here. Colonel Fiora Javed. Yeah. What? That's right, Vostroyan Firstborn. So awesome. So like I said, this is the kind of color scheme that I'm basing my Vostroyans off of. Their brass and their gold. Try to match it up to this rather than the bright kind of costume jewelry one of the Games Workshop website. And then after those basic regiments, I know what you mean. They're like, what? No Valhallan Desert Raiders, no Gaunt's Ghosts, no nothing else. Don't worry. All that's in the supplement. So then they talk about, what? Krieg? This looks like Valhallan, but I think it's Vostroyan. It's just winter wear. Yeah. Krieg officer, Vostroyan Firstborn officer, Cadian officer. Working together like friends, like good buddies should. So let's talk about how you play the game. All of this is just basic ways of forming your own regiment. Do you want to make a regiment that is not like one of these example regiments, then this is how you do it. You just pick and choose from these different things. Unless you want to, if you want to make your whole own original world, like the Warboss Tay Grenadiers or something, then I would say, okay, let's come from a hive world, so you get certain bonuses like here, and let's say that, ooh, the Warboss Tay commanding officer of this regiment is very phlegmatic, so you get these bonuses. Basically, if you want to come up with your own original regiment, you would use these to completely come up with a new thing. What? Melt a gun. Oh, so awesome. If you want to make a regiment that is already existing, like say you want to do a Mordian Iron Guard regiment. To create a Mordian Iron Guard, you use these things. Hive world. Mordia is a hive world. Their commanding officer would be phlegmatic, regiment type, armored regiment, close combat drill, combat drugs for doctrines. So yeah, you can either create a whole new regiment, or you could use a template. Each guardsman gets a standard regimental guardsman kit. They have favored weapons. So say you're playing a Mordian Guard, you would get, they have favored weapons down at the bottom that you get some advances for. These are the equipment things you get. Basically, this is how you would create your own character. In the back of the book, they have a character sheet, and this is really good because it allows you, if you just photocopy this, it allows you to, it takes away a lot of the work from you. It keeps everything nice and organized and ordered. So before we get into the craziness of all the weapons and really digging into the 40K universe, let's talk about how you actually play the game. A lot of it is characteristic tests, skill tests, using degrees of success and failure based on a D100 system. So that means you get two D10 or 10-sided dice. You nominate one as the 10s and one as the 1s. So say you get a red D10 and a white D10, and you say that the red is the 10s and the white is the 1s. You roll both of them. If on the red you get a 7 and the white you get a 1, then you would count it as 71. Basically like that. And that's how you kind of do everything. You get characteristics just like in Warhammer 40k, the game, the tabletop game. And then basically, yeah, it's a lot of tests. So the core mechanic is that you do tests. And when you get into fighting, it's tests against your weapon skill and ballistic skill and toughness and stuff. So let's talk about specialties now. So say you created your regiment, you decided that you wanted to be, for example, a Death Corps of Krieg. And who wouldn't want to be in Death Corps of Krieg? It's for everybody. It's wonderful. They give you cake. Then the next thing they do, I'm not going to do a joke. I'm not going to do a joke. I'm not going to do a cake joke. The next thing you do is you choose a specialty. Say you always wanted to be a heavy gunner, like somebody who carries the heavy flamer or the heavy bolter or something. Then you get all of these. Medic, what? Female. Now this goes against the fluff because, small tangent, Destroying Firstborn are supposed to be all firstborn sons, males. I like the idea of a female though. It's cool. Skills that they recommend you take. Starting aptitudes, talents, and modifiers. I'm not really talking about aptitudes. It just means what you're better at than other things. Talents means things that you get that because you chose to be a medic, these are things that you get. Modifiers, such and such. They have things in this game called Comrades, which I want to touch on very briefly. Comrades are like an extra NPC that the player character gets to control. So say I decide I want to be a medic. Don't be a medic, be a commissar. I would have a comrade that kind of stays with me. They don't really have a profile, and if you take them into battle, they can be killed, but they don't have a profile that is as detailed as yours. Basically, they're healthy, lightly wounded, heavily wounded, and dead, or something like that. Sentinel pilot, you mad, bro? Then your comrade can be given orders, just like in the Imperial Guard Codex. You could tell them, cover me, aim at this, shoot at this, cause a distraction, do all sorts of different stuff. And depending on your specialty, your comrade can help out in these areas with these skills. So, I mean, that's a great little extra bit. The thing about your comrade is that you can really personalize yourself and your career. How awesome is this? Sergeant, obviously made to look like the model with the headset and the unhelmeted head. So his comrade could be turned into a Vox operator, given extra orders. Weapon specialist, melt-a-gun, somebody who specializes in shooting. Weapon specialist is like a regular trooper. I first thought this was Acadian, but I think it's a Elysian drop trooper because of the armor. Ah, now we're talking. The commissar. Comrade advances. Sometimes the specialized ones, they don't have comrades, but they have special abilities, such as summary execution. You can shoot someone in the head, and it'll motivate other people. Munistorum priest. Praise the Emperor! What am I doing on this battlefield? I should be in a church! Ogren, for anybody who ever wanted to play an Ogren. Ratling, sniper, sanctioned psyker. Stormtrooper. Tech priest, engine seer, and that's it. Vestroyans! So the rest of the book is just kind of fleshing out the universe, giving you rules on how to bring your characters to life, and Talarn Desert Raiders. And yeah, that's basically it. Let me tell you about the things that make this different. Comrades. Generating a comrade. Using a comrade in battle. Skills are things that you get in all of the Warhammer 40k universe role-playing games. So if you get a skill, modifiers, it tells you how you can use it. If you have a skill in something, like say you're trying to infiltrate an enemy camp or something and you have to disguise yourself. Having a skill like deceive to deceive the other enemy's troopers would be a lot better in your if you had it in your skill set. Dodge, same thing. So skills are things that you can learn, and then you've got talents and traits, and these are things that you kind of have to really specialize in, or you just kind of have to be born with, like ambidextrous. Okay, so then you get into the equipment, the armory, all the different equipment. The really awesome thing about this is because they have an operator career about using the heavy machines of the 41st millennium. Awesome. You have vehicles in the armory. So anything from like a Sentinel Scout Walker all the way to a Lehman Russ. Yes, even to a Baneblade tank. It shows you what kind of weapons they're armed with, how many crew you need, the different options you can have. Now, there's no currency system, so you can't buy a tank and say, I want to buy a tank. You have to be issued them. So we're going to skip the psychic powers because it's all kind of explained. It's got its own section, kind of like magic. So we're going to move on to, I'm just going to briefly look at combat. Combat, you have, you roll against your weapon skill, your ballistic skill to shoot something or hit somebody with something. Strength and toughness kind of determine how much pain or how much you can get hurt. The thing that I don't really care for are these kind of breaking everything up into actions. I'm not really a fan of them. Full action, half action, free action. They kind of basically break down how, I mean, it's very ordered. It allows you to order your phase to say, okay, well, if you want to do this, it's a half action, so you can do another half action, but you can't do a half action and then a full action. You got to choose to either run or do something else. As a game master, I can see how that would be useful for gamers who really need everything broken down technically. But I like to give people full range to do whatever they want and say that if it makes sense and they can justify it, then it'll take their turn to do. So basically, I don't really care for the half and full actions, but that is something that most game masters really take to. Moving on, if you get hurt really bad, you have to roll on the critical hits chart. Nurgle. Ah, my knee! So these are fun extra things. If you get your wounds taken down to 0 and then you get hurt by another blow, then depending on how bad the actual hurt is, you could have something as bad as the target's head is destroyed in a conflagration of fiery death. He does not survive. Or if it's not that bad, a grazing blow disorientates the target, imposing -10 penalty to tests. So it could be really bad, or it could be not that bad and just kind of, you know, an annoyance until you get the heck out of there. So they have critical hits for lots of things, from explosions to gunshots to getting impacts like blown up or hit with something really hard to rending. So really creative ways to die in the 41st millennium. And then you have Comrades. Oh, Death Corps of Krieg Medic. I don't feel so good. Keep fighting, trooper. The Emperor wills it. Cohesion, which 40k players will know all about. And then the different kinds of orders you can give your comrades. So this is really what makes your comrade system awesome and different than other role-playing games. And you get vehicle, how to use vehicles, tank shock, ramming, all that stuff. It's a lot of extra stuff to know. So the thing about this is you can't have one guy in your group say, okay, I want to drive a Lehman Russ, and another guy say, I want to be a heavy gunner, and another guy say, I want to be a sergeant. You kind of got to choose what you're going to take at this point. I think in the supplement they talk about integrating different things, but yeah, at this point it's all kind of, you should try to stick to one thing, because otherwise you could go off on a crazy tangent for hours on one guy who's piloting a tank, like a manticore, sitting in the back, and the other guys in your group who are in the trenches fighting. So cool. Talks about the Game Master, what you need to do to be the Game Master. I'm just going to skip to the end. Look at this! Wouldn't it be awesome if there were female models? Follow the art. Oh, so good. And then the last thing in this section of the Game Master is how to do like insanity, terror, corruption, and how to use only war with other gaming systems. Say you've got a Dark Heresy group that wants to shift over, or Rogue Trader or Death Watch or anything. It kind of tells you how to do that, which is good. Crossover. Ah, oh, Battlefleet Gothic. Why you stop specialty games, GW? Then this chapter is all about the history of the Imperial Guard, the structure of it, the current day structure, so that the Game Master, everybody can kind of know, okay, what's going on? What is this universe all about? Then it talks about the different sectors: the Dark Heresy sector, the Calixis sector, the Coronis Expanse, where Rogue Trader takes place. I mean, it really helps break it down for you if you are a totally new Jericho Reach, Death Watch. If you are a new player in the Warhammer 40k system, it really gently eases you in. Screaming Vortex, where Black Crusade takes place. And Spinward Front, this is the universe that only war takes place in. Here's a breakdown of the planets. And then it talks about the Spinward Front and the different worlds and what you should keep in mind when playing here. Orcs are a very big presence here, as well as a kind of, I don't want to say they're not chaos, but they kind of broke away, seceded, the Severan Dominant. They seceded from the Empire, so they're a whole new group of adversaries. Then you've got enemies, broke it down to the different enemies you can encounter, what their skills are, what they would be armed with. Hey, you want to fight a flippin' Defiler? Holy cow. Soul Grinder? No. No, thank you. Dark Elder. Oh, how is that? Look at that. Wouldn't it be cool if the rack models... I mean, that's so cool. Talos Pain Engine. Like, the art in this is just really fantastic and inspiring. Little grots there. Like the grots for Mega Timho's Stompa. And then you've got a little adventure in the back that you can run. The adventure is pretty fun, and it kind of introduces you to the Comrade system, to the combat system, to the Requisition mission assignment gear system. So yeah, let's talk a little bit, just a brief minute on what that is. The Requisition system means that before a mission, you get your primary objectives, primary, secondary objectives, tertiary objectives, or targets of opportunity. And then you get assigned gear. So for this mission, you would get a Chimera with a long-range Voxcaster, a Heavy Bolter on top of it, 6 Demolition Chargers, Field Rations, or I think the Heavy Bolter is actually separate, so that your Heavy Gunner can carry it around, and Damp Weather Gear, because you're tromping into the forest. So depending on how well your regiment does, and how well your unit is, so like say that you're a Acadian shock trooper, and the Acadians have been in this war zone for a long time, they get more equipment because they are a known entity and they are doing a good job in keeping chaos at bay. So they might get a bump in their gear requisition. So here you could see that, say that there is something is abundant. You look at the armory, it's abundant. It's a single regiment, multiple regiment, company that you're operating there in. And here, the time spent in the month. Say they've been in there for 5 years. The front has been active for 5 years. And we are the dominant force. There is not a lot of bad guys here. You get all these different modifiers to your role. And then you can be given extra things if you roll on your logistics table. So not only do you get everything that you are supposed to be issued, you also get extra things. Or say your unit is doing really badly, you've only been there for a little while, and the unit itself screwed up really bad on the last mission. They killed all the civilians by accidentally blowing up a Prometheum tank, and they disobeyed their orders because, whatever reason, they did really bad in the last mission. That would affect how much equipment they get, because their quartermaster equipment officer is like, these guys is crazy. They don't know what they do, and I ain't going to give them nothing. They want that heavy bolter. I'm going to give them like a pair of boots to make boot stew with. I think it's a really cool extra bit that there's no currency system or bartering system. Like you can't loot bodies for credits and money and try to save up and buy yourself a tank one day. You get what you get. So I mean, that's cool. It's different. Yeah, and then at the very back of the book, you've got an index, which is really helpful, and you've got your character sheet, which everybody should have Xeroxed copies of. It just makes it so much easier than doing it on a sheet of paper. Alright, so sorry about the super long review, 25 minutes, 26 now. I recommend that if you have a group that is willing to really buckle down and learn the rules and the rule system, Only War is very structured, and it's very precise in its rulings, and you could be kind of lenient, and you could have a game master that says, well, we'll take this rule and we won't use that rule, or I like this rule so we use it, but we'll cut off another one, we'll not use a different one. Valkyrie, but I like it. I like the system. I like the fact that you get to be a regular guy, not a super drugged up, brainwashed space marine, or a really clandestine, undercover, cloak and dagger kind of Dark Heresy character. I mean, everything is fun, and you can really do, whatever you want. But if you ever wanted to be an Imperial Guardsman, like they keep bringing it up in the book that, hey, you know what? The rules are made so that your comrade is probably going to die every single time you go out there and you play a game, and they want that so that you can always be generating new comrades when you get back to base, and you go from the green recruits to the veterans of the squad, and it's a fantastic narrative structure, I think. So let me know what you think if you've played it. Oh, it's getting hot! It's getting hot! It's getting hot! And I would love to play it, but I don't have a role-playing group anymore, so unfortunately I am all out of luck, but it reads great, it looks great. Maybe I have this book, I can kind of absorb it, synthesize all of the rules and stuff, and at some point get a group together. But yeah, at this point it's really hard to learn if you have to just sit down with it and kind of go through everything. There's just so much, it's so heavy with information and stuff. But then again, if you ever said to yourself, I want to pilot a Sentinel and just blow stuff up, or I want to be a crew of a Baneblade tank, then it's the way to go. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'm going to cut it off here. Commissar Bane, do you have any last words you want to impart to everyone? The Imperial Guard is great. It's wonderful. I highly recommend joining. See the galaxy. Meet lots of new and interesting races. And then kill them.